Hey guys, Negative9 here, how is it going everybody, and welcome to another top 5 video. In this video I thought it'd be interesting to go through 5 races that could potentially become playable in the future of Guild Wars 2. Since ArenaNet will probably not be adding any more professions into the game, but instead adding elite specializations, I think it's almost a certainty that our future expansions will now add playable races as opposed to brand new professions. This got me very excited when I started really thinking about it, so I've put together the top 5 future playable races in Guild Wars 2. At number 5 we have Centaurs. The Centaurs are a species that everyone who's played Guild Wars 2 should be pretty familiar with. There is a large population of Centaurs in various locations within the human nation of Kryta, so if you've rolled a human or played through the human early areas at any point or visited them for map completion, you will have seen a large number of Centaurs. This is because the Centaurs are currently at war with the Krytans in an attempt to retake the land that was originally theirs. As well as Kryta, Centaurs once inhabited Alona before the rise of the Elder Dragons cut off communications with the entire continent. Centaurs could bring a lot of unique things to the game if they were added as a playable race, but one of the major things that's holding them back as a legitimate playable race in the future is their bodily dimensions and their strange shape. They're like half people, half horse, so that'd make it pretty hard to animate them and create armor for them that looked realistic and not out of place. The Centaurs would be a whole lot of fun to play, I'm sure, but probably won't be added for a while, if ever. I mean, if you have any doubts about this, just think of a Centaur trying to dodge roll. But with all that said, there is still a lot of potential for the race, so who knows? It's up to ArenaNet. At number 4, we have the Hylek. The Hylek are a frog species that are found on the coast along the Sea of Sorrows, the Tarnished Coast, and the coasts of Kryta, as well as a new tribe that has been found in the Maguma jungle called the Itzel. The Itzel allied with the playable races against Mordramoth, which suggests that they could be a candidate to become playable in the future. The Hylek divide themselves into different tribes which can be differentiated by their color. Each tribe has a different toxin strength, and those with the strongest toxins are usually the most aggressive. Tribe size can vary from dozens of members to hundreds, and due to their territorial nature, it is nearly impossible to get 2 tribes to cooperate. When 2 tribes claim the same land, they often wage war until one or both tribes are destroyed. Hylek was once the name of a single tribe among the race, but in the past 250 years, it has expanded to refer to the race as a whole. I'm sure the Hylek would bring a lot of unique things to the game if they were to be added as a playable race, but they're not the most likely to be added anytime soon, at least. At number 3 are the Naga. The Naga are a race from the original Guild Wars that we actually know very, very little about. The Naga are basically a snake-like creature, very similar to the Krayt, except these Krayt-like creatures were based in Cantha. The Naga people lost their homes when the Jade Wind struck, but the Naga population was nearly wiped out by Shiro's death whale, Shiro Togachi that is. Thousands became one with the sea when it turned into gemstone, and hundreds more, mostly traders or mercenaries, died with the humans of Cantha on land. The only Naga that survived were those far enough away not to be trapped in the water when it turned to jade, and those survivors, only a few dozen in number, were scattered and terrified. We know virtually nothing of the Naga today, but if we were to return to Cantha, ArenaNet would be tempted to redesign the Naga as a playable race. I mean, they're a fascinating race if you really go into the history of them and some of their culture. This, of course, all depends on the return to Cantha and how ArenaNet wished to progress the story. At number 2, one of my personal favorites, we have the Kodan. The Kodan are a race of large polar bear-like beings from the far north who are known for their spirituality and their sanctuaries, which were essentially large cities built onto floating icebergs, which is pretty awesome. The rising of Jormag destroyed their sanctuaries and pushed the Kodan as far south as Snowdin Drifts, where they now attempt to make their homes. The Kodan believe that their god Koda is the creator of the world and teaches the importance of balance. For example, each individual's actions must be in balance with nature. However, this does not mean that they are pacifists in any way. They view hunting and killing as a natural order of life as long as it is done in order to serve the balance. I see the Kodan as a really hardcore race because they basically see themselves as the bringers of judgment, but also seem to have the good of Tyria in mind, which makes them really appealing as a playable race for me. It's possible that the Kodan could be added in an expansion focused around the fight against Jormag, but regardless, I think there is a really good chance that at some point in Guild Wars 2's life cycle, we will be able to play as a Kodan. At number 1, we have the Tengu. The Tengu are essentially a race of birdmen who long ago lost their ability of flight. Most living Tengu reside in the Dominion of Winds, which is the inaccessible city of the Tengu where they protect themselves from the other races of Tyria. The Tengu have a rich history stretching all the way back to the original Guild Wars, where they warred with the humans of Cantha. They were eventually driven out of Cantha by the Ministry of Purity to Tyria and Alona. The Tengu are highly protective of their culture, and it is thought that this is a large factor to their isolation from the outside world. They apparently have some ancient lost knowledge of the Elder Dragons and awareness of the cyclic nature of their awakening, but it's not known how they acquired it. Most Tengu speak Old Canthan and treat Tengu who do not with the same contempt with which they treat all outsiders. Despite their reluctance to interact with the outside world, the Tengu are said to be considering who they should ally. As it stands, it seems very likely that the Tengu will join the playable races in the fight against the Elder Dragons at some point. There are already examples of Tengu wielding weapons in several places within the game, which suggests that their dimensions and size will not be a problem for ArenaNet to animate and add armor for. The Tengu are the #1 candidate to be added into the game, and there was even plans to add them in before launch as a playable race at the release of Guild Wars 2, but for some reason it had to be cut, and ever since then it's been one of the fan favorites for the first new playable race. So that is it for this top 5 video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I really like these videos because they really get me excited about the future of Guild Wars and remind me, you know, what we have potentially in store in the future. So thank you very much for watching again, and I will see you guys next time.